Hey everybody, hope y'all doing well today. I posted the time and date on this thing. I guess it's the 28th is what I just posted. I can't even remember. I know it's Monday. I want to start this video out first off to state, with all the concern and the chatter over the Westlake fire, I want to give you a little report on that. Understand, when I'm speaking to y'all, I'm not speaking on behalf of a fire department. I'm not speaking to y'all on behalf of a parish or any government entity. I'm going to speak to you from what I know, from what I saw, and of course from things I know from being on the inside. I'm just going to tell you what I think. So please don't ever misconstrue that I'm speaking for an organization or an entity. I'm not. I'm speaking for me. That Westlake fire, obviously we got some rain on that dude last night, and it did a tremendous job. I finally went to bed this morning around 4:30 or 5. I was back up around 9 or 10. I don't know, I got a 4 or 5 hour nap. And I went to check on my dozer. Got up there and took a look-see around. Everything looks good. There's still a lot of smoke. And people are like, oh, it's smoking. Yeah, you're going to get smoke. When you have a chunk of wood that burned to its inner core and it rained all around it and everything around it is burned out in that, it's going to smolder. There's not a whole lot you can do. I live down here in Carlos, and if I had to drop a pin and guess mileage, I'm going to say 4 or 5 miles. I can smell the smoke from that fire or something else burning that's wood where I live, so don't be freaking out about it. The amount of rain that was dropped last night was pretty significant in consideration not of its total, but the fact of how it dropped. And I'm going to share some things with y'all. What's cool about it, oftentimes in a heavy pine thicket, the canopy is so thick that the rain tends to stay up top. It does make its way down if there's enough rain to get down there, but you lose so much in the canopy that it never makes its way to the ground to create enough moisture total down below on the floor to create a saturation point. By and large, the areas that were burning yesterday was predominantly blackjack trees. That's a wetland tree, and what has happened to them because it was so dry, they lose their leaves. So a lot of the rain that needed to get down where the fires were, it made its way. It varied. I mean, there's pine trees, there's some oak trees, there's blackjack trees, there's yellow-tailed nutsedge patches that are predominantly low that are dry now. And so, by and large, that whole area, you're good. You're going to see some smoke. It's so hard to say the things I'm going to say because people just damn don't listen. Or he said and it changes, and it does. It can change at any time, but based on what we had yesterday, in my opinion, I wouldn't be sweating it. I'm not worried about it. I did leave my dozer there in case, God forbid, something should pop up. What could cause that something to pop up? Well, I'll give you an example. If all of a sudden tomorrow, this light rain that I'm sitting in, enjoying, were to stop, high pressure comes back in and we get 20-mile-an-hour winds with 45% humidity, they can dry up all that moisture real quick, and we could be sitting right back in the same situation. But then you'd be dependent on a new ignition source or whatever problem. So, like I said, man, y'all just chill on the Westlake thing. I know there's been rain in various parts of the state, and these spotty showers, it's not like we just had a tropical depression come over. We can agree that everybody got rain. It varies, but by and large, one of the things I would hope to do is calm those that are yakking and freaking out over nothing. And understand when I say freaking out over nothing, what I mean is I look at it as nothing because I know what we could do in response. I know how bad it could get if it were to go south, but I don't see it. So just woosah, baby girl. Calm down. The fires in DeRidder, there's still some stuff here, there, and yonder going on. I'm keeping real close comms with all the people we worked with up there. Amazing bunch of people. Man, a huge shout out to DeRidder. I've spent time up there over the years. I've worked there. And just good people, good country people that believe in God, believe in helping their neighbor. And it was, even for the things where I get to experience, as I have for so many years, going into these situations where I come in as a volunteer, it's cool and even impressive still to me to see those kind of hearts. And so, big shout out to DeRidder. I'm going to stop right there. Now, you make mental note that I said I'm stopping right here because I'm about to shift gears and go in a whole new direction because I'm not doing 2 line feeds. There have been a lot of questions, and not necessarily direct questions. For a few, there have been direct questions. How did you get here? For others, it's, I don't know how you got here, but we're thankful you showed up. Well, you know what? I'm thankful I showed up. I'm thankful that I got to meet some good people. I'm thankful we got to do something for the common good of man. without any worries about ourselves. Just do the right thing. It's a blessing to me. But here's the part where I'm going to shift gears, and this is where you need to be paying attention, and don't try to tie in the first half of this video with the second half, because the first half was informative to calm, and now I'm going to answer that question. How did I get there? Friday I landed there. I think it was Monday, Tuesday, early in the week when this thing began. It's more than obvious to me, like everybody else. I'm on social media. You couldn't not see it. Plus the people I know and seeing their personal posts and the things going on and all this stuff, and immediately my mindset goes into, we got to do something. I lived that way for so long that it's just natural to me. But at the same time, I'm busy, and it's like, they got it. The world's not going to change if I don't show up. God, I hope not, because if y'all are depending on me, we're all in a bind. But I kept watching it, and I'm seeing things progressively get worse. I understand weather. I understand fire. I see the conditions changing. I see what's going on. I see this stuff running off and getting in a bad way, and so I'm just really, really paying attention. In that, because of the people I know, because of the circles I run in, the experience I have in that arena, one thing kept coming to mind. One thing was just a general consensus statement, because I'm asking questions. I'm an intuitive person. I'm going to ask questions because I want to understand just what the hell's going on or what's taking place. Dale, I hope you're well, brother. I don't mean to stop this live feed. That's a good man right there. Good friend of mine. I hope you're well, brother. Good to see you on here. I miss you. So as the general consensus went on, and I kept seeing that what everybody was saying is they just got us sitting on our hands. Our hands are tied. Remember I said that. We got equipment. We got people. We got assets. And we're ready to roll. And no, just y'all stay back. Y'all stay back. Okay, so I start looking at this thing a little closer. I should have looked to make certain. I don't have to. It was Friday afternoon. I made a phone call. One of them phone calls that I'm blessed to be able to make. Pretty simple. I actually shot a text. Sir, I need a moment of your time. I need to hear from you quick. That guy knows I don't call for no BS. We talked. Shared what I know. The general consensus of firefighters. Boots on the ground, regular people that are smart enough to move politically, though they don't, but everybody's recognizing something is inherently wrong here. I had that conversation, and in that conversation, was basically told, go do what you feel is necessary. Whatever happens, we got you back. Copy that. It's good to know that, because I'm going to do what the hell we think needs to be done. Not that I have all the solutions, not that I have all the answers, not that anything. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy. But the one thing I can't stand is sit around and talk about it. Can't stand it. Drives me crazy. Action will always do way more than thinking about it, looking at it, assessing it, having meetings. Hashtag political shit show. Many of y'all didn't catch on, but that's why I began using that. And understand, I always refrain from profanity and stuff. You're never going to hear me say the F word on the Facebook. It happened twice, only because I was quoting somebody in 7 years that I've been doing this, but I'm always pretty respectful. There's always somebody that's got something to say. Well, he's not a Christian because he said a cuss word. Open your closet, baby girl. Let's look in there and see what you got. So if you want to judge, I don't care. I'm not worried about that. But the point is, it became very obvious to me, very quickly, political shit show. The best way I can describe the way my mind thinks is to say that when the election of 2008 took place, and that night we went to bed, and it was 78% McCain, 22% Barry Soetoro, the Lion Kenyon, I knew in my spirit something was wrong. And I woke up the next day and my life changed. My life changed because I'm not one that's going to sit and I'm not going to be ran over. You're not going to back me in a corner. If you want to take my freedom, you will pay one damn heavy price for it. I will defend. I will stand. I posted something the other day. I might slip in a pile of brass, but I can promise you there's going to be some collateral damage because I'm not going to kneel for comfort. I won't do it. Life without freedom, life without understanding that we the people run this country. They work for us. We don't work for them. Without that understanding, you're not living. You're just existing in somebody else's world, and I can't do it. So with all that, over the years, I've watched things very closely, and I might be considered what's called a conspiracy theorist. And for years, you wear a tinfoil hat or whatever. Okay. I find it strange to keep ending up being right, just using common sense, a little bit of experience, and perhaps even a large degree of discernment. And so with that mindset over the years and the things I've been involved in, going into this, I kept watching. Because of the things I'm involved in, because I'm blessed to have people that for whatever reason, they see something that I'm not seeing, they send it to me, I look at it and say, let me check that out because I'm busy doing something else. And there was a 4-letter number sequence that kept coming to mind. BE9L. BE9L. Understand what I'm about to tell you? I'm not saying this for sure what happened. One part of it I will say. But because that happened before what I'm going to begin to tell you in a second, why I say political shit show, it had me on edge. When Lahaina burned over there in the Pacific Ocean, some of these techie people, they watch these planes traveling all over the place. They know this was a military plane, a civilian plane, this kind of plane, that kind of plane. But they noticed very uniquely that BE9L plane, and the type of plane it was, happened to go over Lahaina. Then the next thing you know, Lahaina was burning to the ground. About 20 minutes before I got on this live feed, I received a message from a lady, apparently following some dude over there in Lahaina, and she said, he's your Aloha twin. I said, what the hell does that mean? And I'm thinking to myself, and she said, he moves like you, he thinks like you. And understand this ain't about me. We're talking about this guy. But that man right now is putting out the 411 and asking the questions. I want the weather charts. I want this. He's asking the hard questions. Go back and look at the title of this video where I said, maybe you should question some things. So we'll start with that. Why was BE9L over that island for the time it was and the patterns it followed that are documented, and then mysteriously along that same exact pattern, that's where the head of the fires were. He's questioning wind direction. From day one, I'm sitting here thinking, how in the hell did you have a hurricane with no wind and rain and fan those flames? I'm smart enough to know that if you're sitting in the middle of the ocean, it would seem to me, and based on the fact that Hawaii is a tropical climate, that they would not have arid conditions like Arizona. So how did you have all this dry? I don't know. I wasn't watching. I don't know, but it's just how my mind works. And so let's get past Lahaina and that ensuing mess and what has been proven of them stopping private citizens who are more than willing to get out there and stand in shark-infested waters to make sure they can pass water up the bank to their friends and get the disaster response moving. But then local officials, federal officials, state officials, I guess, all these officials, oh, stop, you're going to be arrested. Try it, bub. Try it. That's just me. Been toe-to-toe with them more than once. B9L. As this thing progressed for me before Friday when I decided we're going, I saw something. Understand, those letters and numbers are specific to this plane. If you don't believe me, and unless I'm stupid for what I read and this dude made it up, I'm not going to take the time to go look, but the information seemed pretty correct. The old B9L flew right around the pattern of where all this fire is. It's documented. If I remember right, based on what I saw, it was 4 trips around the area, and it flew back out. I'm questioning it. Conspiracy theorist? I prefer realist. Because what I've found over the past few years is that those of us that are called conspiracy theorists, that's just a fancy term for people that's right because they're paying attention. And they're not dumb enough to believe the buffalo horse shit that you're being fed. Maybe you should question some things. So let's get on down to the topic. Why was I there? On Friday, I'd been on standby for a couple of days for our area. Understand, I'm not speaking for a fire department or none of that. I have great relationships with these people. They know how we roll. We handle ourselves professionally. Doesn't matter, Cajun Special Forces for 7 years, since August 14 of 2016. We have been called in more times by government officials without official documents because we cut red tape. And I don't mind saying it. I give them a fall guy. When they get backed up in the corner with all this political tape and we got to fill out these forms like hell, move, we're going. Well, at that point, they can blame me. And I don't care. I don't care. If someone's in a bind, we're going. We'll risk it all. We've done it more times than you want to count. A lot of it's documented in videos. Not for that point. Or, hey, look at us. It's because it's what we do. And for 7 years of doing this, the one thing I have always tried to do is carry y'all along to make a simple point. Aspire to inspire before you expire. Think about that. And we've done it many times. Very blessed position to be in. Here I am on standby we get a call, well, hurry up, get the truck cranked, get ready, and then it fizzles. That's great. Doing this, the best thing we can hope for is never to be needed. I like when things go south and we're not needed. What does that mean? A 40 miles an hour hurricane comes in. EMS, fire, police, all that shuts down. They hunker down. 40 miles an hour. Only one going out after that is the Coast Guard, I think up to 60. They don't really go out and understand the Coast Guard. They got some real neat stuff they do. They're freaking awesome. And so that might be an untrue statement, but they have parameters that they operate into as well. So what happens at that point, you have an imminent need, but because of the paperwork and the political crap, they shut down. Who goes in? We do. We do. And that's what makes us a neat tool, a neat toy to have, or a neat connection to be in. It also makes it very unique because we're not looking for reimbursements. Everything we do comes from right there. Not woe is me. I've paid a heavy price for it. There's been many people who's helped us over the years, no doubt. But we're going because God said. And if he says go, I'm not questioning it. I'll risk it all. So on Friday, we keep getting stood down. I keep seeing the worsening conditions. We roll up there. And I'll say it publicly now, but for me, yes, we went to help. Yes, we have tremendous assets, skills, knowledge, ability, talents, experience, and know what to do because we don't sit around thinking about it. And we're not going to sit on our ass and go, well, Bill, what do you think we should do, Bill? You know, the fire's burning, Bill. Do you think we should? We're not doing that. We get in there and give it hell until something happens. And that's the beauty of having a little experience. Good things happen, not bad. But that's not your government. So when I went on Friday, yeah, I went to help. But more so, I wanted to see it and hear it with my own two eyes. And I can tell you that about, I'm going to guess around 11:15 to 11:45 Friday night. I'm not going to say the fire chief's name because I don't want to drag him off into a mess. Even though I can tell you that based on a very brief conversation I had with the man, it's more than obvious to me that he feels the same way because he spoke it his own self. But again, I'm just not going to drag him into it. We run across this little department. They're in there kicking butt. Volunteer department. Those are the best guys. In my opinion, they got the biggest hearts because they're doing it for free because they want to do what's right. There's a big difference between that and someone that's getting paid. And that's not to take away from paid firefighters. Don't misinterpret. But there's a difference in heart. Not that the others lack heart. We get over there, offer to help, tell them who we are, what we can do, what we got. Hey, we'll come help you. And then all of a sudden, a truck pulls up. I'm in the passenger door. Chief's sitting on the other side. He's got his door closed. All of a sudden, somebody goes to holler and says something over the radio. And something to the effect of this guy's back here telling us we got to leave. Well, I'm sorry, but you don't come to my house and walk in my back door and tell me to get out of my living room and go outside. It won't bode well for you. So in that moment, immediately, and I'm telling y'all now, I didn't say anything previous to this, but in that moment, that is one of the reasons I was there, because you hear all this chatter, but I want to hear it for myself because I can't stand gossip. And in that moment, when that chief said, what? He swings the door open on the truck immediately. I immediately turned around and walked back there with him because I wanted to hear and see it with my own two eyes. And this guy, well, I don't know what y'all are doing here and this and that, and y'all really need to leave. And he said, the hell are you talking about, man? This is our district. This is our department. This is what we do. Well, you know, we're trying to get assets in here and y'all are in the way. How much damn room do you need, man? There was enough room for me to come in with an 18-wheeler 12 wide in the dark at 70 foot long, and you can't come in here with your pickup trucks or some paid bureaucrat can sit on his ass with a clipboard and watch your own burn? What the hell? That's what's going through my mind at that moment, but I didn't say anything. I was, because I wanted to see what played out. And in that fire chief respectfully said, no. We're going to do what we do. And he said, well, you know, y'all better leave. I won't tell you that I heard the man specifically say you're going to be arrested. But what I did hear was something to the effect of, if you don't leave, we're going to make you leave. And at that point, I watched this man just shake his head in disbelief. I looked at the guy, and he literally went, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. We'll leave. And he told his guys, let's pack up. Let's go. And at that moment, he said, I would be more than happy to go sit in my chair and protect my stuff. If this is how it's going to be, read into the statement he just made. If this is how it's going to be, then let it be. I watched all that go down. That's one incident for me. But that does not include the multiple incidents that I experienced from first-person knowledge of having spoke with other people or receiving messages and stuff. Right after this happened, of course, me, I say it respectfully, but I'm not looking for trouble, but I have no problem if a fight comes. Didn't want to fight, and I'm picking when I say we were looking for a fight. We weren't. We just wanted to do what was right, but we're not going to put up with your bullshit. We drive down the road. There's 2 trucks on the road, and I have no problem saying it. I have a good relationship with the town I'm about to name. I've worked with many people in this town over the years. October 1st of 2017, in fact, was something we did. Have worked these people in and out over the years, but it was Baton Rouge Fire Marshal. And the cool thing about that is that doesn't necessarily insinuate Baton Rouge, but perhaps it insinuates state. Which it was, I don't know, but it said Baton Rouge Fire Marshal. 2 guys sitting in the truck. I walked up to the guy and I said, "Hey man, how are y'all?" Kip Coltrane. We got a dozer. We'd like to jump in and let's get moving on things. And he looks at me. He said, "Well, it's really too unsafe to be fighting the fire." I looked at him. I said, "What?" "Well, it's unsafe to be in there." Now, at this time, I'm not sure if I should scratch my watch or wind my ass, because I'm terribly confused what he just told me. And I've alluded to it in previous videos, but I'm trying to understand when fire got a watch and started punching in on the time clock at 7 to 5 or particular weather conditions, because I've been in the mouth of hell in the middle of hurricanes, drove through 5 or 6 I can think of. The other situations I've been in with natural disasters and weather, we don't even blink, we just respond, we go. But this dude over here is getting paid this big fancy retirement, a pension, a whole 9 yards, but it's too unsafe to fight the fire. Now, we'll say at that moment, in fact, and I have no problem saying these names, I don't give a damn. I can tell you that Louisiana Agriculture and Forestry, whether they're calling that state or LAF or whoever, forestry, whatever, they were in there on the north side of Graybo with 3 dozers that I saw myself. They were just west of us when this incident happened. I told the guys, "Look, if you'll move, put us where you need us. There's no sense in wasting an asset." Well, about that time, he said, "Well, it's really too unsafe to fight the fire. We're going to re-engage in the morning. You guys perhaps should just ease on back." And when he said that, I said, "So basically what I just heard is that we need to put this fire out, but we're going to sit on our ass and we're going to let it burn instead of preventing damage and loss. Is that what I just heard?" "Well, that's not what I said." I said, "No, that's what you said." I said, "I'll tell you what, don't need your help. We're going to do what we do." And I told him that. And I said, "One of y'all needs to move a truck because we're coming through." "Oh, we'll move. It's no problem. But, you really shouldn't be in here. And we really need y'all to get out. And y'all need to go sign in." I got news. I don't need to sign nobody's damn piece of paper to do what's right. Here's what they wanted. And in the meeting up the road with the fire chief, well, there has to be accountability. Those of y'all that don't know anything about fire departments or police departments or sheriff's departments or anything, do you have any idea how much paperwork there is for SOPs, standard operating procedures, NFPA standards, all these things that when people get trained to fight fire, that they have to understand because it's a basis and a guideline. And what it does, if you got a guy on the fire crew with an IQ of 200, I don't know what the scale is, let's say it's 200, and you got another dude over here with a 50, if they both pass the test, and one could be way smarter than the other, but they understand the standard operating procedures, that way they're moved in the same direction, aligned by these guidelines set forth on the front side. And so there I am, thinking, okay, you're telling these people they need to get out because there has to be accountability. I go back to it. I went off a little bit left of center right there. But accountability. They wanted us to leave DeRidder and go to freaking Singer and go sign the sheet and then come back if we were going to do anything, but we had to have permission. Is your head hurting right now? Because mine's about to poof, like a ripe tomato shot by a 30-06 at 50 yards. That's how ignorant this is. And that's when I say maybe you should question some things. A fire scene that big, look, I get it. You got to have a structure. I get that. I understand that. But if you got that many people hanging out in Singer, why didn't you put different incident command posts around the area? That way, if somebody had to do that, either someone, a representative from there could come out to it, or you could quickly get to them, whatever. But that's what they wanted. All these fires, they want somebody to be able to say, well you can, but I have to say so. I need to put my thumb right here. Dumbest shit I ever heard. At the same time, I can respect that because there has to be authority. You don't walk into a chemical plant and just walk and roam wherever you want without someone knowing you're there, without signing in, without understanding the plant rules, the alarm systems, and when they go off and all that stuff. So yeah, you got to have that. But in a fire, it's simple. There's an old saying, put the wet stuff on the hot stuff. If you got a dozer, mash it out, kill it. That's what we're doing. We're trying to kill that animal. They wouldn't allow private citizens to go in on their own accord with founded departments that have been there for 25 or 30 years without their approval. Yet, they're bringing all these resources from all over the place and line them up. And the only thing that was happening, in many ways, and this is not a truthful 100% statement, but the one thing that was happening, they were making sure that everybody's boot heels weren't getting hot. And I got a problem with that. A personal opinion, I'll speak for myself too and understand. I love firefighters. They're my brothers and sisters. Sadly, the world has changed in many ways. A lot of these people go get that job. And there's some weird misunderstanding that the only time firefighters should be working is when there's an actual fire. And understand, I'm not saying that because there's not an actual fire that they don't. But in a situation like that, jump in there. Hey, go see if these guys need water. Hey, can I help you with your machine load and unload? And understand they kind of stage up and stay right there together, and I get that. That's what they have to do. But in a situation like this, per what the government stated, we have never seen a fire like this. We have never seen a situation like this with the atmospheric conditions, the size of it, the sheer magnitude of it. Their words. And so my mind thinks to myself, well, at that point, shouldn't you just turn people loose? If you don't know what the hell's going on, then how are you going to control everybody else that does? Because it's obvious, more than obvious, that if we've never seen anything like this, then we have no book to go by, and y'all want to be bureaucratic paperwork pushers. Get out of the way. I'm going to use Charlie Brown for an example. Charlie Brown, if you saw the video I did, him standing up on that tank, that big fin hydro seeder, he's out there shooting water. Y'all never know it. Charlie had surgery today. He had a big old hernia sticking out of his belly. He was out there risking it all. Hernia ruptures, it could kill you. You go septic right there. He could have died. He didn't care. What he cared about was getting the job done. What he cared about was serving his fellow man. What he cared about was not seeing his community destroyed by stupidity. We got a bad situation. Let's give it all we got and fix this thing. And that's what he was doing. I'll call another name. Kyler Smith. Kyler owns his business up there where he's at. Hell of a kid. I say kid because he's 27. If I could adopt the kid, I probably would. And in fact, I love him like he's my kid. And out of nowhere, here he shows up. I found out earlier in the conversation with him that the reason he happened to be hell and gone in the middle of nowhere where he was because earlier that day he found out a neighbor was in need and he went to help them. We happened to just run into each other, and so it turned out. But there are people out there, including locals, running around on their buggies, many of which had pump-up sprayers, just hit little hot spots. Everybody was just doing what needed to be done. It was more than obvious. There's a fire. We got to put it out. Let's put the fire out. And so you had Charlie Brown with the water tanker that he commandeered from his job. You got Kyler over here with his own machine, owns his company. You got me in there with my machinery. I own my company. And all of us people that just know how to do stuff, and I'm talking about everybody, was doing what needed to be done. But anywhere you had all this paperwork and stuff, it was hurry up and wait and stand around and just hold on. But when the people, we the people, said, bullshit, we're not waiting on you, then there was threat of arrest. Then there was threat of seizure of equipment, those kind of things. And so I go back again and ask you, maybe you should question some things. I have no problem saying it, and I'll say it best now. In my opinion, for anybody that lost anything, you got property damage, it's not the state's fault that a fire started. The fire did that. Somebody's going to be dumb enough to say it was an act of God. It wasn't an act of God. If you look around and recognize one thing is that when these bad things happen, God ain't got nothing to do with it, because all this bad stuff comes from Satan. And the only reason it's able to get afflicted upon you is because God pulled his hand off of you for some reason, either to get your attention, put you in a position where you draw closer to him, or because you brought it on yourself by not following his word. And so when I look at this fire, we can't blame the fire. It is what it is. But when you look at a galactically botched response, made to look so pretty on the news, and I'm not going to say the sheriff's department name, but I found this out today. That sheriff's department, understand, I don't like credit. If you know me, if you've been around me, for 7 years I get in trouble for passing the credit to other people. I don't want it, I don't need it. That's not why we're here. But today, that sheriff's department, can you hear me or something? All right, cool. Sorry about that. I had a FaceTime call coming in, and just to turn it off, it keeps going. But that department, I think it was the sheriff's department or the parish or whoever, took full credit for what me, Kyler, Kagan, Mike, Charlie Brown, Mr. Billy, what we did. How's this work? Because I know damn good and well when I rolled in there at midnight, I had no clue that Kyler was in the back. I had no clue other than have stopped Charlie Brown and asked, can I get down that road? Is that a tram road? That's my uncle's place. I'm calling him right now. He'll meet you at the gate. Hey, cool, let's go in. I didn't know what I was getting into. And then all of a sudden, there's Mr. Billy. There's Kyler. Hey, let's do this. Mike's behind me. Chris and Brittany with us. We rolled in there and just went to work. Other people did come along, yeah. But I didn't see them. I know damn good and well we didn't have a JSA or a job safety analysis with any parish or state entity. Because the fact was 30 minutes before that, they were telling everybody stand down. Me personally, and yeah, I will take credit. If I need to step outside of Humble for a second, I have no problem telling you. You can ask Mike Oliver. When we pulled away from the dude's house on Graybo, I told him, I said, take me down there. I said, I can't stand the idea this fire's fixing to run up the back of here. We can stop it. I got to find it, though. And when we did, what did we do? We got the 18-wheeler, roll up in there. I never saw a swinging dick from the sheriff department. I never saw nobody from the parish. And understand, that's not a shot at the sheriff's department. I'm simply stating that there were no officials around. This is at midnight, 12:15 in the morning. We did what we did, and we got in there and did it. I mean, when we made it back to my truck, which just happenstance, there were people that apparently found out we were there or saw some pictures, and I had no idea how big this thing was blowing up on Facebook. And then all of a sudden people start coming by because that imminent threat is gone, and people are moving, checking their stuff, going around, check on the neighbor, helping their brother and sister. And then all of a sudden an entity wants to come in and claim something somebody else did. I'm sorry. It's horseshit. There's only one thing that's ever come from the federal government that's been good. Actually, two. I'll say it as two, but let me say it this way. Parts of the United States interstate system, and beyond that, the military. The United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Coast Guard. Beyond that, show me anything they've done that didn't come in over budget, behind schedule, totally screwed up, tons of bureaucracy, red tape, a whole bunch of bullshit. When a private entity, and I'm going to say this from my own perspective in a first-person stance, August 14 of 2016, when we roll off into this, what it's become now, I had an idea. I'm going to take my 18-wheeler and go fill it up. Whatever people will bring to us, we're going to go get to the people that's hungry, whatever they need. An 18-wheeler's pretty big. I'm thinking, hey, here's what we're going to do. I had no idea what it would turn into. 7 18-wheelers, 2 2-ton box trucks, 4 dualies with trailers, 148 volunteers, 3 machines out there, a Cat TH-83 telehandler, a T-190 Bobcat, and a big Toyota forklift. I had no clue we were going to move over $4.3 million worth of donated goods in a 12-day period. I had no idea. We didn't do it. God did. But I'm going to tell you how he did it. He did it by people that didn't sit around talking about it. People that just got in there and did the job. And I remember specifically, in that time from August 14 of 2016 till probably the tail end of October, Every parish president in the state of Louisiana whose parish was affected had my cell number. I cannot tell you the times that I got woke up in the middle of the night. Kip, what you need? What you need? Just tell me. Don't tell me all that. Tell me what you need. We'll handle it. Knowing full well that I didn't have some treasure trove behind me where I could just reach in the chest and do it. But what do we do? Just like we're doing now. And I'm saying maybe you should question things. We got people involved. People with good hearts stepped forward. They donated their time. They donated some money. Some brought goods. Whatever. I remember even being woke up by the governor's office of the state of Louisiana after we went to Derby Heights and went in there into a totally messed up situation where an entire community, and I don't care about color, I could care less. You treat me right, I'll treat you right. If you're from Mars and you got a good heart, come on, man. So what I'm about to say now, understand I'm not being political and I'm not into this racial division crap that was bestowed upon us by the Lion Kenyon in 2008, in case you haven't been paying attention. But it was an all-black community that got left, forgotten. We were on our way down to South Louisiana. I'll say the hell name, Sorrento. We had $27,000 worth of medical supplies that had been donated to us. We were going to set it up. En route, get a message, find out about Derby Heights, stop off in there. Come to find out, this community, they flooded, yeah. But it wasn't dirt and it wasn't sewage. It was hazardous material. They got loose from one of the oil companies over there. I smelt it. I knew what it was. I remember distinctly calling for help from the state and saying, we got more than a situation here. This is bad. And when the governor's office called me, they wanted to go out there the next day and have their picture took with us. No shit. I'm not making this up. I remember speaking to the girl from John Bell Edwards' office, and she said, well, sir, he'd like to meet with you. I said, for what? What are we doing? Well, the media's going to be out there, and he'd like to talk with you and maybe see some of these people. I said, you want to do something fruitful? Let me tell you what we got put in place. I said, I need buses. We need quarantine on these people. I said, there's people in here with nervous disorders, bleeding from the nose, shaking, trembling, breaking out in their whole body and hives and stuff, dripping wounds. This is hazardous material. We need them out of here. We've already got a tent city set up. I think it was Lafayette, the bottom end of Lafayette, with medical help there. I said, but y'all can make the call and get the buses. We'll get them out. Well, you know, after we do the photo op, we might visit with that. I told him, I said, let me tell you something. I said, while we're out doing your job, we the people, and I'm finally getting some sleep. And again, I say, and while I've been awake for days, and our team's killing it out here, we all play politics, do me a favor. Don't ever call me again. Tell the governor, F.O. Click. Within minutes, I received a phone call from the senator in that area. Told him the same thing. I said, if you want to sit here and play politics and sit on your damn hands and show up a week after the problem, don't call me. Same to y'all. F.O. Click. We did what we did. So when I see a situation like this, knowing how politics work, and we're riding around in helicopters looking at stuff, yeah, that's part of that office. I get it. You got to do that. You got to get aerial. But I question, really, why didn't we send somebody that knows about fires? Are we doing another photo op? I could get deep off into this. Maybe y'all should be questioning some things, because in my personal opinion, I think somebody needs to be held accountable. I think someone needs to answer for this. Were the circumstances crazy? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's bad. Nobody has all the answers. Understand, I'm not saying that somebody screwed up because they were supposed to know everything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am telling you is that I witnessed it with my own eyes, not to mention all the other accounts of state officials telling the local people who fight the fire there for 30 plus years and other people that are well-to-do and know what to do, being told stand down. If you get engaged, we'll arrest you. That is what a corrupt, oppressive government does. They threaten you with bullshit laws made up by bureaucrats to threaten your safety, your freedom, your way of life, to control you. And the reason they do it is because they forgot. They work for us. We don't work for them. I will say it for myself. I am different. I know that. I'm fine with who I am. You want to take it a step further? When I was a kid in school, I was told I'd be a nothing, I'd be a nobody. I couldn't pass school because I hated it. When they give the ACT or the SAT or the ASVAB exam and I'm busting the charts with that thing, they always accuse me of cheating. Truth was, I didn't like you telling me what to do then, and I don't like it now. I don't like people that don't know what the hell they're doing, trying to tell me what I should do. So when I look at myself and say I'm different, I can say that for this point. Are you different? Are you someone that understands legal? Are you someone that understands politics? Are you someone that has a voice and can speak and articulate the facts and go put them on the record and see this thing through to the end? I've paid my dues. I don't want to be that guy. Will I get drug into it if it comes to it? Most restly assured. And I could promise you they'll be using this video as evidence and testimony against me. I don't give a shit. If I have to pay a price for doing what's right, and of course having done right, we got tremendous results. But now to be vocal, you can expect there'll be something I got to answer for, and I don't care. But I ask you, the people of Beauregard, the people fully encapsulative of this fire, and even the people in Texas, don't you think maybe you should question some things? I have a problem, and I'm very vocal about this, and understand I know a lot of what I'm fixing to say. They're good friends of mine. They're good people. They're awesome people. But I have a problem with people that take on a civil service job, and on Thursday, they get a check every week. As long as they showed up Monday through Friday, didn't do shit, didn't perform nothing, as long as they show up during the week, they can't get fired. But there's no performance. Am I saying that someone should have known exactly what to do? No. Let me say that again. But what I can tell you is that when governmental officials, state, parish, whatever, start threatening people from protecting their own homes, from protecting their neighbor, from utilizing assets that the government couldn't scratch up in a freaking month, and telling them, I'm going to arrest you if you do this? Way wrong answer, bub. Way wrong answer. Something went wrong here. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I don't know. But I'm smart enough, having been involved in politics and the other things that I've been involved in, to look at this and very quickly tell you, somebody screwed the pooch. And I keep going back to BE9L. Why was that plane here? Why did Lahaina burn? Maybe we should have painted the freaking pine trees blue and we wouldn't have this problem. Is that conspiracy theorist? No. It's just realistic thinking of putting the dots together. You never mess with a person that's an overthinker. They'll find you out. When I look at this and start putting the pieces together now that the insanity of the past couple of days is over, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I got a lot of questions. When I mentioned the civil servants a minute ago, understand that is not a derogatory shot at those people, because I can tell you that my experience in the past few days, EMS was awesome. Firefighters were freaking awesome. Sheriff's Department was awesome. All of them. But they're not in the high-rank official spots of those places. They're employees. And they do a damn good job. And they do a good service. And they're there because their heart's right. And they're not bought into the system. So kudos to all of y'all. In fact, hats off to y'all. I received a message from a lady this morning. Her words, not mine. My son got to work around you. He was with the fire department. He was just so impressed with what you do. Okay. Fair enough. I understand these things. I'm good with equipment. I drive a truck. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm impressed with what a cardiovascular surgeon does. A brain surgeon. Someone that flies an F-16. I guess we can all be impressed with each other. And we respect each other's talents or whatever. But when she said that, I fired back and I said, aspire to inspire before you expire. I hope that whatever we did and whatever he saw with what we did, or how me personally as a person did what I did, I hope it inspires him to do better in his own life. Pretty simple. I think by and large, most of the people in these departments, fire, EMS, police, sheriff, they feel the same way. And it's not them. They're not the problem. It's the heads of these agencies. I found out today a whole bunch of assets roll up there. Now that things are over, perhaps, hopefully. And understand, look, I'm about to say something, I don't want to contradict my own self, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And so having assets here late is better than not at all, because the truth is, in my opinion, there's still a lot could burn up there if the weather conditions change back from the rain they got last night and today. We're going to another high-pressure event. It's a whole lot better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I can't say that enough. And so I get that. But the problem I have is that the understanding of how the billing works on this, because way after the fact, somebody that's kin to somebody else that might have a certain name, and I could use the Pelosi's as an example, or the Clintons, and understand I'm not fixing to suicide myself. But the point is, those things happen. We've all seen it if you've been paying attention. I find it strange that a lot of this happens because the more damage there is, the more money there is that goes around. I also find it strange that if you know the right people and understand me, I'm a FEMA contractor. I'm a Department of Defense contractor. I can go in those places because I have all the paperwork. I can do all that, but never have. I have never worked for the government, ever. Because I quickly realized that that thing was equal opportunity, and if you bid it and get it, it's complete horse shit. You go to Fort Polk, which they changed the name to Fort Johnson now. I don't know why that is. But you go up there, offer quality product and stuff, you ain't getting in the door because you're not taking so-and-so to the hunting leash. You didn't buy him and his kid a four-wheel drive King Ranch dually and a damn four-wheeler. I've been there. I've seen it. I'm telling you from first-hand experience, that's how that works. I sat in there with the Corps engineers one time and explained the problems they were having and things we could do to help them. We got passed over because we weren't in the clique. So when I look at the money trail on this, and in any screwed-up event, if you want to see where the problems lie, follow the money. It's a whole lot ain't adding up on this. I looked and watched at Lahaina, and I was seeing it in bits and pieces. Something's way wrong in Lahaina. Something's way wrong in Louisiana. I don't know, maybe they're mad and want to go after some states that had names that started in L. I'm not sure. Probably shouldn't say that. I joke when I do, but we got an issue here. You start looking around and seeing things that are happening in your life right now, how the infrastructure. Let's go back to the trains and all the derailments and these fires and the chicken houses and all this stuff. And oppressive government trying to take over you. And this is where when you say something like I just said, oppressive government, that you start to look like a real idiot. Because a lot of them that holler and scream that is just cool words because they don't know shit from Shinola and they're just trying to look important. I'm telling you, you better start asking some questions because something is way, way wrong in our government. Something is way wrong with what's going on. Maybe you should start asking some questions. To any and every person that's been involved or afflicted by this fire, understand I make a personal commitment to you now that if there's something we can do to help you, we will. I received a call earlier, a lady asking if I could get a forklift to help somebody. I'm not going to mess with small stuff like that. I'm sorry. It's real simple. Get on Facebook, say, hey, we're in a bind. I'm glad, I'm honored that people would think to call me because they think maybe I can do it. And I could, but I can't. It's too small. And not that small things don't matter. It's just I'm on to a bigger fish right now. But if there's anything that we can do for any person afflicted by this fire, the Tiger Island fire, DeRidder, Singer, Longville, Bancroft, Maryville, we'll look at it. The worst thing can happen, I'll tell you no, we can't mess with it. I've already made calls a day checking on some of the people that I came to know in 2 days and call them family. How are you? What can we do for you? What can you help you with? Are you okay? What do you need right now? Tell me about the livestock. Hay is a pain in the ass to deal with. It truly is. It's the most least bang for the buck thing that you can deal with. But we'll start putting the feelers out. And if the need is relevant and it's needed, certainly we'll move. I just don't know who needs what. This is a different storm. Some people did lose their homes. And I'm going to challenge you right now. If you got time to watch this live feed, then you got time to reach over like I do when I'm doing these and go to what's on your mind, go down to live feed and say title, date, and get on there and just start talking. Somebody's going to enjoy what you're saying. They're going to want to align themselves with you. And there's no excuse why people cannot get up right now if you know for sure that so-and-so on Road A lost their house. Why are you sitting there comfortable in yours instead of finding a way to help them get back to one that they lost? Not that particular one, but a new one or some means of protection and securement. Why are you not doing something? I can see right now I'm end up going long on this video. I'm going to get in the truck. Some mosquitoes are tearing me up. And it's black. You can't see my face. But why are you not out there trying to find out a way to help your fellow man? Why are you not taking the time? Hey, baby girl. Why are you not taking the time and getting 4 or 5 of you ladies together and saying, you know what, we're going to do this, this, and this. We know they had 3 kids and they're missing clothes. If you got to go to Goodwill and get them clothes that don't cost nothing or cost pennies on the dollar, it's better than what they had, and I can assure you, if they just lost their home, they're in one of the worst moments of their life they will ever experience. And it don't take a whole lot to put your heads together and say, we're going to do something good for these people. And in doing that, that's how you change things for the better. I remember speaking at a conference with United Airlines in March of 2018. I was asked to be there and speak for this big convention. Totally announced to me, I show up, VIP guest. I hid it in my pocket. I'm an average Joe. I don't need your VIP. But being a VIP and a guest speaker for this big event, I'm getting introduced to people. And I'll say a name, John B. Wells. I was introduced to a man, John B. Wells. Thought I knew the name, wasn't sure, but as he and I spoke, and I kept hearing him speak, I said, sir, I know you from somewhere. I don't want to sound cliche, but I'm trying to figure you out. And he leaned in and told me, his Kip will follow everything you do. Y'all are badass. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I didn't know the man knew me. And understand, I don't like telling these stories because people get the wrong idea that you're trying to show off or something. That's not the case. But when the man said it, it humbled me even further, and it made me feel good about how we handle things in the quiet. And he said, the reason that you know me is because you do, but you've never seen me. I said, explain. He leaned in and got in my ear. He said, and tonight on National Geographic. He's a freaking voiceover guy for many of the programs that you're watching on national TV, from National Geographic to A&E, Roadshow, Caravan to Midnight. And here's this well-known guy that knows me and follows me. All right, I'm going to make my point, so stay with me. When it came time for the lunch, and we had an hour for lunch, that's when they wanted me to speak. And I asked the lady who asked me to be there, what do you want me to speak on? She said, well, we called you here because we want someone that can make other people take action. I said, well, fair enough, that's easy. She said, do you have anything prepared? I said, what do you mean? She said, you don't have any notes? You're going to be speaking for an hour. I don't need notes. I brought mine. They're right here. And I got up there and spoke for 48 minutes. And the one message I conveyed to them that I'm going to convey to you now is stop thinking that you got to be rich to do something big. Stop thinking that to do something worthwhile that you have to have 9 miles of planning. Stop thinking that if you want something to be big, that it has to start big, because if you do something small, that's how it does. And I conveyed that message to over 4,000 people that day and left them in a mic drop, literally. I didn't even introduce myself. I never even said my name. John did, I think. I told him who I am is of no importance. And I told them, I said, the reason that you want to do something to help your fellow man or start an organization or do these things, the reason you want to do those things is because you got a good heart, and that's awesome. I said, but the problem is you're thinking about it too much. So, having went long around the barn there, I'm going to make a point right now. If you live inside these affected areas and you want to do something, quit thinking about it and go do it. Say a little louder for those of you in the back. Quit thinking about it and go do it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to extend goodwill. Help your community. Y'all have people that lost homes. You have other people that's in a bad way right now. They need. You probably got 9 miles of clothes piled up in that closet and been thinking you're going to take them to the dumpster for a while. They still good clothes. How half of them had tags on them because you ate too much shrimp etouffee and gumbo through football season. You couldn't fit in them anyway. Go give them to somebody that can wear them. Cook them a meal. If their yard's messed up, if their house burned, get over there with some buckets and wheelbarrows. Or find somebody that's got a traco, a skid steer, and clean it up for them. They got enough on their plate. We the people, I have news for you. The government ain't fixing to help nobody that lost their home or lost whatever. It ain't coming. If it does, by the time it gets to you, they'll put out $3 or $4 billion, and it'll take, I don't know, let's say $3 billion. It'll take them about $2.98 billion to administer the fund to get it to you, and then they'll take all the credit for the $200 million that they got out. I watched it with Road Home. I've watched it with so many programs, and that's how these things are set up. That is how they extort the taxpayers of money. That is how the exchange takes place. High-end money laundering with a fancy title. That's all it is. So quit waiting around on the government. I don't probably need to tell anybody that's watched anything with hurricanes how bad the insurance companies screw people. Just don't worry about them. Go help your fellow man. Hang on. Get out of there. Get. Horses think red paint is to be chewed on. If I can get anybody's attention on some things tonight with this, maybe you should be asking some questions. Second thing is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to get out there and go help your fellow man? And 3, quit thinking about it. Just get her done. Get her done. Again, I say, if we can do anything to help anyone that's affected in these areas, we will do what we can. You often hear me harping saying, I don't take a bunch of messages. Don't call and text me during these times. That's true. When I'm in an op like that, do not bother me. Do not try to engage me in a conversation where you just want to chew the fat with somebody. If I've intrigued you in some way, look, thank you. I appreciate you. You're awesome. But please don't. But if you're someone that has meat on the bone that really wants help doing something, call me. I'll give you everything I got. I'll stay on the phone with you at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll hold your hand till 3:30 and pep you up and say, come on, let's go. We'll do it. Because we, the people, have to take care of our people. The government brings nothing but problems and bureaucracy and a lot of holdback with a mess. So, we're dealing with a fire. I understand it doesn't encompass anything as big as Hurricane Harvey or Delta or Laura. Galactic failures on the government for their response. Did y'all know that I think it's 86% of the stuff that happens in these disasters predominantly done by private sector relief and churches? Yeah, the government has all the money. We're over here kicking butt with nothing, and they got limitless funds, and they can't pull piss out of a boot with helping instructions. So again, I say, your community's in a bind, go help them. We'll do what we can. And just understand, most importantly, if that's on your heart right now, and you think you can, you can. Just do it. And when you do it, remain humble. Give everybody the credit but you. But before you give it to them, you give it to God. You'll make it. It'll be awesome on the backside. God bless. We love y'all. I know this is a long live feed tonight. There's no way that I can convey in 5 minutes days of thinking, conversations I've had. I figured up today, based on time, it would take me about 9,000 hours to convey a lot of what I convey at times if I had to do it in phone calls, and that's why we use these live feeds. Anything I say, I fully stand by. I don't give a damn about the repercussions. If a department, an entity, a political agency has a problem with me, you call me. Because if I have a problem with you, I'm going to come see you. We can gladly sit down across the table, discuss these issues, and if I'm wrong, I will make that well known. Oftentimes, we don't know until we ask the questions. But I don't have to look to a color chart to know if something painted black or white. And for what I'm seeing right now, I got a bunch of questions, and so should you. God bless. We love y'all. We'll catch you on the flip. And again, like I said, anything we can do, our hearts are with the people of DeRidder, Bancroft, Evans, all into Texas, everybody that's affected. If there's a will, there's a way. And if it's not us that pulls it through and makes it happen, we will carry you so that you can get it done. God bless. Good night.